my lens is yellow. It makes my teeth look yellow. It makes my shirt look yellow. You know, it's anything that's not completely white, it makes it look more yellow. So yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna make this video black and white anyway. See, yellow teeth, yeah, they're white in real life. They even change shades and shit as I get closer. Okay, that's an example of a new thought introduced to my thought process that made me change my mood. Okay, now you tell me that every shrink out there, why they're misdiagnosing you with bipolar disorder, which is 50% misdiagnosed, at least 40% on record. You're telling me that why they're misdiagnosing you with bipolar disorder, that they're inside your brain and they know what you're thinking. They know what thoughts have passed through your brain, okay? Because their argument is based on the idea that it is a chemical process in your brain. It is receptors. Okay? Their whole idea is based on synapse and synaptic receptors and mental processes of the brain, neuropsychology, neuropsychiatry. This is what their whole process, their whole APA book, their whole DSM is based on. It's based on the idea that it is a chemical reaction or a lack of chemical reaction, a lack of receptors working together. It's those little brain cells in your brain that aren't working together. That is their theory. The reason why I have proven them wrong my entire life isn't because I'm some kind of God-given fucking genius. Because like I've pointed out before, there's people that know more than me. They might not be able to do as much as I have with what I know. Let me give you an example. When I took my IQ test, I scored about 135, right? I was starving. I was high. I had left the room and came back, and it was timed. Keep in mind it was timed. I knew it was timed. And I knew it was timed, and I knew I had wasted time, and I knew I had to make up for it. So I breezed through the test. I finished it. Got it back, 132, right? So even though I didn't have a fair test, even though I was high as a fucking kite, even though I was starving in the middle of nowhere, pissed off, like even I was in a rage trying to calm myself down, even though all those factors were at play, I still scored reasonably high. And I'm sure there's people that scored higher. But does that mean that they're smarter than me? Of course not. Okay? Not even close. Because unless you're mixed with black and white, okay, unless you are mixed with the two races that invented the most things, the two most relevant races in history, then you're not going to be as smart as somebody who's black and white. Okay? You're not going to have the same capacity of genetic material in your body. Now, does that make me some kind of fucking racist? Does that make me some kind of fucking superhuman being and all this shit? No. At this point in time, that is not necessarily the case. We need to maximize the gene pool. We need to have a lot of people mixing together. And the overall results, okay, say you have a million mixed kids. This is what I'm getting at. If you have a million mixed people, they are going to do better than a million people of any other race, period. Period. No question. This is why the Jews won all those battles with all those inbred tribes. No question. Okay? But the individual, the rule for the individual does not apply to the macrocosm. It does not apply to the macroscopic scope of the problem. I have seen the theories of group communication. I have seen the theories. I have seen the Aryan migration theory. I have seen it claim that people migrated out of Africa and they went to Europe and Alaska first and then they went to India. Okay? I have seen the subtle signs of people who would turn around and deny that they're the signs, that they believe the white race is superior and that God has chosen them to rescue the black primate subhuman race. And they are seeking medicine, university, politics, and sociology, and psychiatry specifically are the instruments they use in order to prove their point. Just like Hitler. How far was Hitler willing to go to prove his point that the Jews were inferior when in fact Einstein was 1 billion times smarter than him? How far was he willing to go? How far was that Asian girl in my class, I'm not going to say which one, any attempt to sue me will just result in the middle finger. I'll say that's an assumption, bitch. Shut the fuck up. So, how far was that Asian girl in my class willing to go to prove her racial superiority when in fact the president who beat her entire party, including her, was a mixed black man? When one of her own people's favorite singers wasn't a Hmong, wasn't a Vietnamese. He was Bob Marley, a mixed black man that even looked like me. What do you have here? You have the people who are racist, who have vested interest with racists because of historical woes. Like the Italians are mad that the Moors kicked their ass. The Nazis are mad and the Germans are mad they lost 2 world wars. The English are mad because they lost the Revolutionary War. On and on. The Chinese are mad because they lost the Opium War. On and on. Okay? All these cocksucking racists who have half an understanding of history that I do, who use it to justify their racist point of view, who would never admit in their wildest dreams that the mixed person is superior, when Jesus, the most superior man to ever step foot on this planet, was mixed. He was mixed before the Spirit of God. His mother was mixed before the Spirit of God had went inside her. The half-tribe of Manasseh. On and on. The mixed race is the master race. The mixed race is the God race. Because God made man in his image. Man went astray. And when God when God corrected that image by making his son, he had to mix the races and mix the spirit as well in order to produce what would be considered the closest thing to a perfect human. Once you understand that it is sociologists who are colluding with psychiatrists, judges, politicians, and teachers at your school, like my anthropology school, like my anthropology teacher in college. I get in an argument with him over the location of Ethiopia. He brings a provocateur into my class. He brought a white racist kid into my class who would side with him in case I took my case to the principal. So me and my Ethiopian girl walked out of that class at De Anza, the anthropology class at De Anza. We walked out and we never returned. When I saw that racist English teacher at De Anza, I walked out and I never returned. At Webb School, at least half the staff is so racist that they couldn't help from making jokes about Jesse Jackson and Farrakhan the whole time I was there. Crackers. They think because they ran a marathon that it proves the white race superior, when the top runners in the world are black. I had to deal with the same Hitler Youth scum who wanted to make it harder for my brother when he was running during gym class. Okay? These motherfuckers, they wanted to make it harder. You understand? This guy and his wife were both teachers at the school. They both lived at the school. They both practiced the alma mater white racist theology and ideology that the school produces. And they were attempting to apply that white racist ideology to my brother. So I told those crackers where they can shove it. And just like I'm getting punished right now for telling those same crackers where they can shove their racist eugenic ideology and handbook, Just like they will detain me and punish me for pointing out that they're wrong, they punished me at web. They said, even though you spent 5-10 minutes talking to me, sticking up for your brother, I'm going to demand that not only you run like everybody else, but that you finish at the same time as everybody else. When we're only running a few miles, and I started off 5 minutes behind. And I'll tell you crackers this right now. I'll tell you white inbred hook-nosed motherfuckers this. That just like I bounced back from that cracker shit, what you're attempting to do to me right now, using university professors, using police officers, using members of the federal security agencies, the FBI, and all the feds that go along with ATF and all those assholes, you can't win. Before I even made this video, my contingency plan was in effect. You have already lost. And the fact that you kept moving me around from place to place and that I've roamed the streets for years makes it close to impossible to figure out which people out of the 1 million people in San Jose I chose to include in my primary group. Before I even knew it was referred to that way, I had made the preparations. You can't win, you white devil scum. You can't win. You can oppress me, you can put me on a cross, but the contingency plan is already in effect. I am Obi-Wan Kenobi from fucking Star Wars, and you Darth Vader crackers can strike me down now. Because my contingency plan is in effect. And when you strike me down, my ideology will be reborn. And I will become far more powerful than you dark side scumbags could ever imagine. So go ahead and strike me down, Darth. And use your fucking cracker minions as well. Because I do not see as a coincidence that the guy who was pushing white power was the main enemy of Star Wars. That Hitler had stormtroopers. And what color was the stormtrooper's uniform? It was white. And who brought balance to the Force? The guy whose uniform was black. The guy who had been part of their agenda, but then turned on the scum, which represented black revolutionaries who had hung out with gang members growing up. Thank you.